is a tornado warning in Latimer County. You are watching Fox 23 News at 9. We're in severe weather coverage because we have a very serious situation. Not only the tornado warning right now in Latimer County, but flash flooding threat that is just now really ramping up in the Tulsa metro. We've had several reports of close to 100 water rescues in the Oklahoma City metro so far today. And that same rainfall is moving into our area, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And we're very concerned about that flash flooding threat. So the tornado warning right now in northern parts of Latimer County, the risk area is now a little bit to the north of Red Oak. I'll do a quick check of that. That's about northwest of Red Oak by about 3 to 4 miles. So tracking that to the north and almost a little bit to the northwest here. So we'll try to get Kinta into this morning right around 9:17, so about 17 minutes from now. The area of rotation looking a little bit weaker at this time. That is some good news, as continuing to see just a little bit of weaker rotation in the last few scans on radar. That is some good news. Now we are tracking several areas of rotation that may not have tornado warnings at this time, but still dangerous storms and heavy rain. Let's toss things over to Chief Meteorologist James Adelot.
Okay, here's what we have going on right now. That weak circulation we've talked about in southwestern parts of Tulsa continues very weak. It's still persistent, though, and this is going to be the area that we could see some gusty winds, maybe up to 50 miles per hour. And we're looking, this is the Brookside area. You can see these bright greens, then we pick up a little bit of red here over Utica Square and Philbrook. So we've got about a 2 to 3 mile wide but fairly persistent circulation here. It's very weak. It's not an indication of an imminent tornado threat at all. What it is an indication that we've got the structure in this part of the storm to generate some very strong wind. So we'll do a track on this part of the storm right now as it moves to the northeast, and we're looking at just basically south of downtown Tulsa over the Brookside area. Brookside right now moving over downtown 906, the TU area 908, gusty wind. Washington High School by about 912. Fox 23, that's Midtown Tulsa. 31st and Memorial area 915, Tulsa International Airport. At 9:18, Owasso 931, Stone Canyon Elementary School at about 9:37. So we have one tornado warning in effect for eastern Haskell and northeastern Latimer County. That runs until 9:30. In fact, we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning in Tulsa right now for this storm, but it's just on the edge of becoming severe, with wind being the main threat. So it still looks like we're going to watch this pretty closely. Again, actually starting to see a little bit more rotation in the reflectivity part of this storm right now. Let's go back to the high-resolution Doppler data. It's actually gotten a little stronger. It's just pushed across the river now. This is east of Brookside. This is Edison Prep on South 41st Street right now. So we're watching this rotation get just a little bit stronger right now. And that's an update on the warning down in Latimer County. That runs until 9:30. So we have no tornado warning in effect in Tulsa, but we're watching this area of rotation very closely. Here's Philbrook Museum. Again, the spin continues with this storm, and it continues very persistently and fairly strong right now. We've actually watched this thing increase in intensity just in about the last 2 scans here in the last 2 minutes. So I'm going to take a step back, and we're going to zoom into this storm, and I'll do an updated track on it because, again, this is something I'm watching very closely. We are in a very populated area. I've not received any reports of funnels or wall clouds or anything that would lead us to believe that a tornado is imminent. So we're watching it very closely. What we have seen is the velocities in this circulation start to increase. Latest track, Brookside, Utica Square right now, Promenade Mall by 9:10. TU 912, Hale High School 914, TCC Northeast at 919, up toward Tulsa International Airport at 921, the Mingo community there on North Mingo Road close to 36th and 46th Street North, and Apache as well at about 927. So again, the circulation continues to show signs that it's getting a little bit more organized. It's something we're going to be watching really very closely as we look at these minute-by-minute updates. We're going to jump back and take another look here. I've adjusted the view just a bit. Here's the fairgrounds and TU, downtown Tulsa here, just to get you oriented. And what we're looking at now is basically now north of 41st Street, moving to the northeast. Again, it's not real tight right now, but it is showing the structure necessary to produce at least some gusty wind moving through Midtown Tulsa. So to TU, Fairgrounds, Hoover Elementary School area. Here's Hale High School on 21st Street. Further north, here's McClure Park, all the way east to 169. And it looks like just over the next few minutes, this is going to be crossing the Broken Arrow Expressway. So that's where we're going to see the gustiest winds. I want to stress, the only tornado warning that we have right now in eastern Oklahoma is a tornado warning for Haskell and Latimer County. We are watching a line of thunderstorms moving across the city of Tulsa right now. They've not been severe, but we're seeing some signs, again, on the leading edge of this storm that we've got some gusty winds. I'll do a track now over about the next 40 minutes. And what we're looking at, Tulsa International 909, East Central High School 913, Broken Arrow 919, Lynn Lane 922, Catoosa area 927, Verdigris by 937. Again, this is a blue track. This is not a track of any kind of imminent tornado here, but we're watching very, very closely now in southwest, well, right down in Midtown Tulsa, just north of 41st Street, all the way back over east, basically 41st and Harvard. That appears to sort of be the center of this circulation, and all the way up to 21st Street and Harvard as well. So this is something we're watching very closely as it moves across the city. It looks like it can support some gusty winds up to 50 miles per hour. It's certainly not gotten any stronger than to lead us to believe we've got something else going on. But spotters around the storm watching very closely. We have one tornado warning in effect, Haskell, Latimer County until 9:30. Let's check in with meteorologist Ben Walnick, and he's got more. Ben?
Yeah, and that Latimer County storm moving into southern parts of Haskell County. Good news there. The rotation looks much weaker, so we'll continue to watch that very closely. Still in a fairly rural area, about to cross over the county line into Haskell County. What I'm most concerned with at this time is actually the flash flooding potential. We've been talking about that all night. Let's take a look at our high-resolution forecast model. I do want to show you this, and you can see the lightning strikes there on our Fox 23 tower cam in East Tulsa. The heaviest rain is just now getting to East Tulsa. Western parts of the metro are in that heavy rain now. And I've got some bad news. That heavy rain that's here, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Let's take weather for full, and let me show you this high-resolution forecast model that just came in the last few minutes. And watch this rainfall that is set up over our area now at 9 o'clock. And watch this as we head into the overnight hours. Check this out. All the way until midnight, the heavy rain lined up right down Highway 75 and into the overnight hours, staying through the night. This is a dangerous situation. Heavy rain potentially starting now and not stopping for almost 12 hours, if not longer. We're talking 4 to 6 inches of rain possibly in the Tulsa metro. I was just talking about this behind the scenes with certified meteorologist John Boyer. Now's the time where you are right now is where you need to stay for the night. You're out at a friend's house right now. You don't need to be thinking about driving home tonight. Very dangerous situation in the Tulsa metro and for much of Green Country. With more on the flood warnings, flash flood warnings that we're seeing right now, let's check in with certified meteorologist John Boyer.
Yeah, what I've done is I've simplified this map up a little bit in Weather 3 just to show you the boundaries of these flash flood warnings. And we're looking at central and eastern Oklahoma here. Here's Tulsa, here's Oklahoma City, and everywhere in metro Oklahoma City has had heavy rain so far, and many spots reporting flash flooding and significant problems from it. We are in the early phases of our flash flooding situation here through the night and into tomorrow morning, maybe even into tomorrow afternoon in southeastern Oklahoma. So expect more flash flood warnings east of Tulsa, where we don't have them now. As the heavy rain rolls in, there's going to be very little capacity for the ground to soak it up. So it's just going to run off. And we are going to be talking about more flash flood warnings all across Green Country. So go ahead and anticipate that. East of Highway 69, where the rain hasn't been very continuous so far, it will be as we go later and later into the evening and into the night. So think about that. But again, Metro Tulsa down to Okmulgee, Okfuskee, Bristow, all across Osage and Pawnee counties, and up towards Bartlesville, and right up to the Kansas border as well. We've got these flash flood warnings that'll be running through about 2 to 3 in the morning. So at least 5 or 6 more hours of flash flooding threat, and that's just in the short term. We'll have to see, as Ben was mentioning, where exactly that zone of heaviest rain is going to be in the wee hours of the morning and Sunday morning, because we could be talking about flash flooding continuing to be a problem for us even long after 3 a.m. So we are, again, just in the very early stages of a serious flash flooding threat here in Green Country. It looks like it will be worse than what we had last weekend or the weekend before that. So factor that into your decision making. Want to also keep an eye on the outage situation. We have gusty winds rolling through areas with saturated ground. We could be knocking some trees over. But so far, no outages in the PSO territory in eastern Oklahoma. Also not seeing anything from OG&E at this time in terms of outages. Also monitoring the strongest wind gusts that we've been seeing in the past hour at 1 to 43 miles an hour in Okemah. But there are obviously radar indications of much stronger winds in some localized spots where we have those severe thunderstorm warnings. One in particular for parts of Rogers, Washington, and Nowata counties. That goes until 9:45. Don't want to get away from our tornado threat for too long either, and we'll go back over to Chief Meteorologist James Adelot to talk about that.
Okay, want to update folks in the city of Tulsa. We have no warnings in effect if you've been with us over the last 20 minutes. We've been watching a very weak but persistent circulation move from southwest Tulsa. Oh, very close to the 244-44 split, close to Robertson Elementary School. And that has moved now up across the city, much weaker now. But we get into these bright greens. That's an indication we've probably got some winds 40 to 50 miles per hour sweeping east with this line of thunderstorms. The actual circulation part of this looks much weaker. Now, I want to do a track as this line of storms continues to move across the metro area. And I can't stress this enough. The flooding threat is critically high in the city of Tulsa right now. And it's only going to get worse. We'll do a track on this storm again, right down the leading edge of this storm as it moves toward the east, and it's going to at least cause some big-time flooding issues too. As it moves to the east, we'll say at about 30 miles per hour. A lot of this is falling on saturated ground. Here's the track, TCC southeast toward Leonard, Broken Arrow, Catoosa, Keatonville Hill, and Limestone Fire District as well, Coweta, Claremore, Jamesville in Rogers County, right up there on Lake Oologah. So this is going to be the leading edge of the rain moving across the city. Now the rain is falling in the metro area right now. The heaviest rain is in this little strip right through the city, but more important is what we're seeing to the west of us, and meteorologist John Boyer has been talking about this all evening. Some of the threats that we've seen, some of the very heaviest rain reports west of us, lead us to really understand how much rain we're going to see. While it looks like a pretty thin little band of very heavy rain, these storms are incredibly efficient rain producers. So what looks like a garden variety Oklahoma thunderstorm is producing a whole lot more rain and flooding threat across the city of Tulsa than what normally we would see with a radar display like this. Moving very slowly, I'm going to put this back into motion, and again what we're looking at is that motion is a little bit more northeast. As this line moves to the northeast, it tracks across the city of Tulsa, but it actually extends much further to the west, and that's going to cause the problems with the ongoing rain. We've talked about the continuous rain, moderate to heavy, that we're going to see through the rest of the evening and probably overnight too. This is our last tornado warning. That actually expires at 9:30. It may actually be canceled early. The circulation was much weaker on the last scan, so that is some good news for Stigler and Kenta and southeastern parts of Okfuskee County. I'm just checking here. Yeah, we've got a lot of street flooding, Sky, Tewksbury, northern parts of Tulsa County right now. Still holding on to one severe thunderstorm warning. That is north of Tulsa. We'll do a track on that because, again, wind here is the main threat. This moved through the Bartlesville area a little earlier, but we didn't receive any reports of any damage, even though on Fox 23 Doppler radar, it looked like we were seeing some fairly gusty wind for a while. Moving northeast, 30 miles per hour, Nowata, Jamestown, winging on toward New Alloway at 9:34, right on the northern side of Lake Oologah. We also have our track moving across the city of Tulsa. So far, the winds in Tulsa have stayed just below the severe weather threat. Now, as we take a step back, we've got two warnings in effect. One, the severe thunderstorm warning in Nowata and northern Rogers County. Claremore not included, but areas north of Highway 20 and north of Claremore are included. And we have our tornado warning. That's set to expire at 9:30, but the circulation did look a little bit weaker on the scan. Now, those are just our severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings. Look at all the green. These are flash flood warnings. We are facing a very critical and dangerous flash flood threat through the rest of the evening and tonight. This rain continues to fall. There are a lot of flood-prone areas in the city of Tulsa, and any low-lying road and poor draining road will likely flood very quickly if it isn't already flooded. New report southwest of Sand Springs right now, 2 to 3 inches of water already flowing across the highway in Sand Springs. So we already have some street flooding issues to deal with and flash flood warnings now. Bartlesville, Tulsa, Okmulgee, back into Okemah, Bristow, Pawnee, Pawhuska. As this line of thunderstorms moves east, the line of flash flood warnings as well will track toward the east too. So quick check of radar. And again, we'll throw this into motion. We're not seeing any kind of really super strong tornado indications right now, but look at the heavy rain south of Tulsa that's continuing to feed right up into the city, and the very heavy rain will continue as this system drags more moisture up into the city right now. Zooming into the city of Tulsa, we're seeing the winds indicated by Fox 23 Doppler radar. Looking at some of the high-res data off to the side right now, look a little bit weaker, probably 40 to 45 miles per hour. Earlier we were talking 40 to 50 miles per hour. So it looks like things settling down just a bit on Fox 23 Doppler radar. So I want to expand the view one more level and show you some of the other warnings that are in effect. There's a little bit of a breakdown here. Hopefully we can get that break to lift up to the north now. And if you could, thank you. Yep, thank you very much. New flash flood warnings are in effect. That's Osage, Pawnee, Washington until 3 o'clock in the morning with the flash flood warning. Creek and Okfuskee County until 2:30, Okmulgee and Tulsa County until 2:30. That includes the city of Tulsa. Lincoln and Payne County also until midnight. Our tornado warning in effect for 14 more minutes for Haskell County too. The video you're seeing on the left side of your screen is from one of our storm trackers in Okmulgee, and continue to see no big sign of any persistent and sustained rotation in the metro area right now. I'm just leaned off the screen here just a bit. I'm going to take a little closer look at the storm in Haskell County, and what I'm looking at, it's still has some rotation in it between Kinta and Lafayette, and just to the north of Sandbois right now, and up northwest of Lequire. It's not quite as strong as it was before, but we still have some circulation right here. This is Huggart, Whitefield, and Stigler. So Highway 9 here. We'll continue to watch this closely as it moves to the northeast. We have that tornado warning in effect for just over 10 minutes. Once that tornado warning expires, of course, we will rejoin Fox 23 News at 9 o'clock. And it's going to be, of course, heavily weather weighted. We have a lot of rain, and I'm sorry? Okay, when the tornado warning expires, we'll go over to baseball. So Fox News team is standing by. We continue to see the very heavy rain on the left side of your screen. That's in Okmulgee from one of our storm trackers. Right side of your screen, the circulation here in Haskell County that's much weaker. Back to the metro area, what we're really worried about now is not the tornado threat, but the flash flooding threat is going to be significant. The ground is saturated. We've picked up 7.5 inches, close to 8 inches of rain in Tulsa so far this month, and more coming down right now, leading to street flooding now, and a flash flood warning has been posted on the wide view. What we're really hoping for is that this little batch of rain, or a little lighter rain, from Ada back north through Holdenville can lift into the metro area, but until it does, we've got some very heavy rain that we're dealing with. We also have some heavy rain that's starting to redevelop along the Turner Turnpike now, and you can see that from Bristow, Stroud, Davenport, south of Chandler, all the way down toward Prague and Shawnee. That, unfortunately, looks like it may be taking a little bit more of an eastward track, and if that's the case, that's going to be pushing right back up into the metro area. Our severe weather team has been here all evening to keep you updated. John Boyer joining us now. John, you've got more. You've been talking with our storm trackers and updating some of the flood-prone spots in town.
Yeah, I'll talk off camera for a little bit because I'm over here looking at some reports relayed to me through Brittany Jeffers, Broken Arrow Police, saying a car is in a drainage ditch at 7800 East Creek Turnpike. We have a report and some video from a viewer in Bristow near the casino. The creek there is out of its banks. And we also have a number of flooding reports out of central Oklahoma. We're talking to our storm tracker, James Rogers, who has been out in the field and said that a number of times on his way north from Okemah, he has seen where water is covering the roadway and didn't go through it, as you obviously should not. And to help you with that, the National Weather Service in Tulsa has some information about flood-prone intersections and streets in Tulsa. I'm going to make that map and put it out on Twitter and Fox 23 John Boyer. That way you can have a look at it there. But the point of putting that out there isn't to say, okay, you can drive tonight and these are the places to stay away from. Driving in Metro Tulsa tonight is, unless it's an absolute emergency, is just not a good idea at all. James?
Yeah, and I can't stress that enough. You need to be prepared right now to stay where you are right now. This will be multiple inches of rain moving in over saturated ground. And because of that, we will have a very serious flooding threat moving in. You can see the rain just continues to fall in the Tulsa area, and our animation over the last hour just shows more heavy rain from Okfuskee County lifting north into Okmulgee County right now. Continue to watch maybe a little lighter amount of rain south of I-40, but it certainly doesn't look like that's going to move up into the metro area anytime soon. But look out west. This is all the way back into parts of northwest Oklahoma. So this is going to be solid rain. And as we go from north to south, we're going to just kind of track the leading edge of this whole line north to south all the way across the viewing area right now. So out of Montgomery County toward Labette County, we've got some strong thunderstorms here. These have not been severe, but from Elk City back to Coffeyville and moving to the northeast, that's going to be moving up closer to Independence, Drum Creek, West Cherry, the community of Canada, of course, and toward Cherryvale and toward Cherry as well. Now, the only severe thunderstorm warning that we have in our area continues, looks like Nowata and Rogers County, that is expiring at 9:45, but the leading edge here we'll do a track on. Again, taking this from the Kansas storm all the way back down close to Talala now, and we're seeing the threat of wind. That's going to be the main issue with this line of strong to severe storms. It's basically at about Highway 69 right now, and as it moves to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour, Elba, Edgewater Acres, Winganon, Foyle, Bushy Head, and toward Chelsea, that in northeastern parts of Rogers County. Further south along this line of storms, we get into the metro area and we convert to less of a wind threat and more of a serious flooding threat. Again, cannot stress this enough. Flash flood warning already in effect. We already are getting road flood reports, street flooding in the metro area right now. It will be very dangerous to be out from this point on tonight in the metro area, and this situation will not be getting any better with more rain moving across the metro, and it's going to continue to be very heavy. I'm going to take a little closer look at some of these very heaviest rainfall spots over the city of Tulsa. We're going to stop the animation, and sounds like a new warning being issued right now. Yep, and this is a new flash flood warning for Nowata and Rogers County as this line of strong thunderstorms continues to move east. Again, converting into much more of a flooding threat. So this is going to be Nowata, Oologah, Claremore, Inola, Tiowa, back up toward Limestone, Foyle, and Chelsea under this flash flood warning. Lenapaw, Watova, Nowata, all the way up, including the Oklahoma Union High School area too, in northern parts of Nowata County. I'm going to stop the animation again right over the city of Tulsa, and you can see the heaviest rain now, Sperry, Owasso, all the way north to German Corner and Collinsville. Now shifting into Midtown Tulsa and East Tulsa right now, just about to move into Broken Arrow. In fact, there's one downpour out ahead of this over parts of Broken Arrow right now, too, moving up toward Bass Pro and St. John, BA. That's going to be scooting across the Creek Turnpike outer loop just to the northwest of Oneida. We also continue to look at very strong downpours now south of the Creek Turnpike all the way down Memorial to where it takes that eastward jog over toward Leonard and into the southeastern parts of Latimer County. So very heavy rain continues here. Again, the only tornado warning we have is still in effect for about 7 more minutes in Haskell County. Let's check in with meteorologist Ben Walnick as we continue to see this slowly evolving from a severe weather threat into a very serious flooding threat.
Yeah, in fact, the rotation that I'm seeing in the storm to the southeast is much, much weaker. It's really a flooding concern, and we're going to stay on the air with this because this is a very, very dangerous situation for the Tulsa Metro. I was just looking behind the scenes at some of the rainfall amounts in the last hour. We've seen more than 1.5 inches of rain in Skiatook, more than 1 inch in downtown Tulsa, more than 1.5 inches also in Hectorville, right on the county line in Okmulgee. Only 1/3 of an inch so far in Broken Arrow and Bixby, but that rain is just now pushing into that area. Creek County, Bristow, over 1 inch of rain in the last hour. This is very, very heavy rainfall. When you're talking 1 inch to 2 inches of rain per hour, that's when we see the flash flooding really start to ramp up. And you have to remember, we've seen a lot of rain in the past few weeks, so there's nowhere for this water to go. There's nowhere for it to go in the creeks, the lakes, or the grass isn't soaking it up, and so it's just going to flow onto the roadways. So we can't stress it enough how dangerous the situation is tonight. We've all been in flash flood warnings before, and this is, if if there was a flash flooding emergency that we would issue, we'd issue it for today in Tulsa, tonight in Tulsa, because we're going to see the rain on the roadways here all the way through the night and into Sunday. So if you are away from home tonight or wherever you are right now, you need to stay there for the night. There's no reason to get on the roadways. Lots of water rescues in Oklahoma City. And again, there's no reason to get out on the roadways. I think we have one of our storm trackers. We at least have his shot up from Okmulgee. If we could take that in the screen. You're looking at Fox 23 Tower Cam right now, and I think that's REM 45, and that's our shot from James Rogers. He's in Okmulgee. I don't think we have him on the phone at this time, but I did just talk to him on the phone, and he drove through the Okemah area earlier, and he said the roads were becoming impassable. He had to get out of town quickly before the roads were flooding, and if you remember, about 3 weeks ago, Okemah saw 8 inches of rain in just a few hours. Still haven't recovered from that, and they've seen upwards of 2 inches already tonight. So the flooding concern there, he's right now the shot in Okmulgee, seeing the rain there as he's driving back towards the Tulsa Metro, and he is on the phone. James, if you can hear me, can you talk a little bit about what you saw earlier when you were driving through Okemah and then what you're seeing now?
Yes. When I tried to go through Okemah to the north to keep up with the storm, all of the roadways at that point were already covered with water, and the water was flowing over the roadways. And by the time I got back into Okemah to get to 40, the roads were almost impassable, and I was almost stranded there and couldn't get back to 40. And it got a little bit better until I got to Okmulgee, but now the rain started here, and just the last 5 or 10 minutes, the roads here are starting to become flooded also.
All right, thanks, James. And he's going to stick out on the roadways for a little bit while longer. We'll try to bring him actually back into Tulsa here pretty soon, as it's becoming a dangerous situation even for our trackers. We don't want them out in this mess as well. He was talking about Okmulgee just now starting to see that heavy rain, and we're seeing that rain redeveloping over the same areas. And if we could take weather 4 full now, I want to take a look at what we're seeing on weather 4. If we could take that full screen and away from our storm tracker out in the field as he is heading back towards the Tulsa Metro. If we zoom things out and take a look at the wide view as I take the warnings down and just look at this line of rain that we are seeing across the area right now. We're seeing plenty of rain across the area, heavy rain all up and down I-44. And we have a shot outside the station. If we could go ahead and take that. That's the heavy rain you can see just pouring right now in East Tulsa. Already seeing the water pooling on the roadways. When I was driving in at 6 o'clock, before we were even seeing much of that heavy rain, it was already starting to pool on the sides of the roads. If you weren't in the middle lane, you were having issues driving out there. You can see the lightning strike right there. Lots of lightning with these storms as well. And what you're seeing on the radar behind me is this stretch of rain all the way from Tulsa down Highway 75 and down I-44. And with this tracking over the same areas, it is a very dangerous situation. We're going to see these rainfall totals really stack up, likely seeing more than 4 to 6 inches in parts of green country, including possibly the Tulsa Metro. So dangerous situation. If you are out and about, stay where you are. You won't want to travel tonight, even if you're not home. I wouldn't recommend getting on the roads at all right now. Let's toss things over to certified meteorologist John Boyer with some new information.
I have some confirmation of something I was not looking forward to having to report today, but a rain rate in out to the south of the metro, Hectorville, a rain rate in the past hour of 2.07 inches in 1 hour. So the strongest of these storms have the capability of dumping 1 inch to 2 inches of rain in 1 hour's time. That's why we're seeing the flash flooding. Just in Bristow in the past hour, 1.25 inches, 1.76 inches around Skytook, and that's flowing into Bird Creek. So on the map behind me, we have some Midtown video to show you of the rain there. Also a report of some flash flooding. This relayed by ham radio and the National Weather Service on 51st Street between Harvard and Yale, and is likely just one of the many areas in the metro area and parts of green country that is seeing street issues right now. This map behind me, this is just the 1 inch, or rather past 1 hour rainfall, not what we've seen total, but just the past hour. And as I put some numbers down here, that little dot of yellow there, northern Okmulgee County, not too far away from Hectorville, that's where the radar indicated 2.3 inches of rain in the past hour, very close to what they're observing there at the ground, at the Mesonet site there. Bristow, just really in the heart of town, 1.8 inches of rain in the past hour. on average around Metro Tulsa, a little under an inch, but there are some heavier pockets within there. Everywhere where it's green, that's a 1 inch per hour rate. Where it's yellow, that's a 2 inch per hour rate. And that is entirely too much rain. So again, you're thinking, yeah, it's just raining right now. We've had flash flood warnings before. As Ben has said, this is different than last weekend because of what happened last weekend. We really don't have the capacity for this rain that's coming down. And the bad news is it's just going to continue like this for much of the night across green country. Saturated soils, this is just, again, confirmation from the Weather Service. Measurements of 1 to 1.5 inches per hour. Where we have those flash flood warnings around Metro Tulsa and points west, that's where they are going till 2 to 3 in the morning for that flash flooding threat. Seeing an update on that one tornado warning still dealing with. Actually, this is new. This is Haskell, Muskogee, and Sequoyah counties until 10:15, a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado.